Alright guys, last week of this training block, you'll see a little bit of training from every day this week, so it's going to be kind of a long video. On Monday, it was squats and deadlifts. I had to split them up and do deadlifts later on at home, so you won't see those in this video. But you will see my full first and third sets of squats, and then about half of the fifth set. It was 5 sets of 8 with 345, which was quite tough, but I normally, since I record with my phone, I have it on do not disturb so that I don't get texts and calls that interrupt my recording. But today I was waiting on a possibly important call, so I couldn't do that, and I got a call in the middle of my last set. Obviously it wouldn't have mattered much if I'd had it on do not disturb. I still would have seen the call probably and could have called him back, but just had it on. So you'll see like the first 3 sets, and then it stopped recording when I got the call, and then I had to leave. That's why I had to do deadlifts later on. But this is the third set here. Everything went pretty smoothly, and the bar speed looked fine. It never really got to the point of being grinders or anything, so I was happy with the strength this day. Just a tough session to do 40 reps like that. And this is the last rep of the third set here, and that's it. Up next you'll see about half of my 5th set, final set. And to the right there you can just barely see Alyssa. She's one of my coworkers here, and she competed in her first show earlier this year, I think, about the same time I competed, and did pretty well, and definitely has a lot of potential. I think she'll probably do some pretty big things in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Her name's Alyssa West. Hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing that. And this set's about to fade out. There it goes. This is Tuesday's training. It's bench and OHP. It was 5 sets of 8 with 205 on bench, and that's all you'll see. I think you'll just see the first and last set here. Just can't get too excited about filming bench right now, but it is improving, definitely, because this would have been impossible about 6 weeks ago. So getting there, just never going to be a particularly impressive bencher. And I changed things up a little bit this week with bench. The past few weeks I've been doing bench press, squat, and deadlift on Wednesday and Friday. And this week I decided to take bench out of those 2 sessions, and I benched on Thursday and Saturday separately, and it went much better. I just don't particularly enjoy training for close to 3 hours. I mean, I like lifting, but that's just too much time away from my already pretty tight day. I don't have a whole lot of time extra as it is, so that just kind of bums me out a little bit. So I decided to split it up, and it was good for strength levels as well. This is training from Wednesday. My schedule is kind of weird this week, but I was training at home on Wednesday, and just going into this last week I trained at home on Wednesday too, and I did squat, bench, and deadlift, and it took me from about 1 p.m. to a little after 4. So I just didn't want to do that this day. So I did squats and deadlifts, and then I actually just did pull-ups because my squat rack has a pull-up bar on it. And I realized that this is a little bit crooked. You're just going to see my last set here. And then after this, you'll see my last set of deadlifts, and you'll see the gardening glove that I wore on my right hand. Kind of. You can't see it that well in this one, but wore that so that I didn't scratch the shit out of my leg anymore, and it worked pretty well. Didn't affect my grip much, just chalked up that glove, and everything went well. It was 3 sets of 6 with 385 on deadlifts. The program actually called for 380, but I decided to just go with 385. I knew I could handle it. And on squats this day, it was 6 sets of 6 with 365. And you guys saw that last set, it was still going pretty smoothly, so I was definitely happy with strength levels. And I pretty much always feel stronger on deadlifts at home just because I don't have to slowly lower the weight and fatigue myself so much. That definitely makes a pretty big difference when I'm training at work, but I don't think that it's actually a negative thing. It just means that I need to lower my maxes a little bit. This is Thursday's training here. I believe you'll just see the last set of bench. It was planned 6 sets of 6 with 220, but since I wasn't able to complete that last week with 215, I decided to stick with 215 again and go for 6 sets of 6, and everything went really well. So completed it without any problem at all. Definitely think that putting it by itself and giving myself an extra day of rest in between made a big difference. Now we're on to Friday's training. You'll see a little bit more detail in this one. You'll see the first, fourth, and seventh sets of squats. It was 7 sets of 4 with 375, and then the last set was an AMRAP set, which went pretty well. A lot of you have probably seen the very last grinder on Instagram at this point if you're following me there. That's the first set. Bar speed was quite pleasing, and one of our clients actually brought Halloween goodie bags, so I had these 2 things intra-workout. Not a bad little addition to the training. Here's the 4th set. Got it from the side so I could check depth. Was pretty happy with my depth this day despite my quite resentful hips. And you'll kind of see on some of the reps that I pitch forward a little bit more, and that's not a really common problem for me because just my femur length and torso length, I don't have to lean forward as far as a lot of people for low bar squats, but because of my hips just not opening up like they normally would, that just happened a little bit because I wasn't able to push my hips back as much as I'd like. But strength felt really good, and I still feel like the training went well overall. This is my AMRAP set here. That one was a little high. That tends to happen on the AMRAP set. I'm trying to get as many as possible, so sometimes I guess technically I am cheating a little bit, but it was just that rep, and it was not on purpose. That's 5. These start getting quite ugly here. This is number 6. Bar speed looks pretty good, but these were feeling quite rough at this point, and this one looks very, very rough. Got it up. Glad I didn't fail with clients coming in the door. 7 reps with 375. Here I'm on to deadlifts with 405, and you can see that gardening glove again. Wearing it here and just strapping up. These are the wrist straps that we have at work because I lost one of my own. I just have one. So don't think I can buy one on its own to complete my pair. So I'll have to buy another couple of them. And this is one of my favorite shirts, but I'm going to have to retire it soon because I've worn it to work out so many times it's just kind of destroyed. But I loved Yoo-Hoo growing up. And that's it. It was 3 sets of 4 with 405 on deadlifts, and this is the AMRAP set on the 3rd set. And this went quite well too. Just made sure not to let it shift over too much. And I'm kind of tempted to buy some really cool pairs of gloves so I can wear one for my Michael Jackson deadlifts, although I know they wouldn't let me wear it in a powerlifting meet. But it definitely served its purpose this day because I didn't want scratching my leg to be a limiting factor on the deadlift because that's just kind of ridiculous. But on this set, after that really tough grinder on squats, I didn't want to go until I was just really, really dead on deadlifts. So I stopped after that one. I only got 7 with 395 last week, so I just stopped at 8. I probably could have eked out another one though. And just decided to give you guys a brief posing update. Pretty happy with where I am right now because my calories are pretty high. My weight has kind of stalled out. I've actually changed macros recently, right at the end of this week. I've upped protein and lowered carbs and lowered fat just a little. Protein is at 240, which is definitely higher than necessary, but that's just where I want to have it right now. Carbs are down to 400, and then fat is down to 75. And that was just because I got to the point where eating all those carbs just didn't feel optimal. It didn't feel like I needed that many carbs, although I do want to be in a surplus, so I upped protein a little bit more. And I enjoy eating a little bit more protein too. This is Saturday's training here. You'll see the first, 4th, and 7th sets of bench press. It was 7 sets of 4 with 225, the last set being a plus set. And last week it was the same thing with 220, and I only managed 5 on the plus set and failed. Had to have my boss rescue me on the last set. So I really just wanted to match that, but just felt a lot better rested this time because I put it on its own day, and I could tell after 2 or 3 sets that I was definitely feeling stronger than last week, and I kind of anticipated being able to beat last week's AMRAP set even with more weight. So this is that AMRAP set here. Felt really good going in. And as you can see, the weight's moving pretty well here. It's really tough to gauge how many reps I might get by watching, because my bar speed looks pretty much the same for the first 3 or 4, and then just drastically slows down after that. So I knew that I was probably going to get about 6 here, and I did right there. If I'd had a spotter, definitely would have gone for a 7th, and I feel pretty confident that I would have gotten it. So definitely an improvement. But that's it for this video. It's been quite a long one. I appreciate it if you've stuck around. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and don't if you didn't. I'll talk to you next time.